Welcome to the 22nd episode of the Three Sportsmen Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kurt.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Trey.
And in this week's episode, we're going to be starting a new segment called 3-Minute Takeaways, talking about the NFL season, Week 1. We're going to be talking about the Jaguars' tank for Trevor Lawrence, the NBA playoffs, and finally, Chicago baseball. Before we get started, we'd really like to introduce Jack, returning to the podcast.
I'm back.
Yeah.
What episode were you first on? It was one of our first 10, right? It was
the small forward one, right?
It was the small forward ranking.
Yeah,
I'm checking
right.
real quick.
I think it was.
I think it
It was
was
6 or 7. It was 6 or 7. It was 7.
Oh, I was close.
Close. But Jack, we're really happy to have you back on the podcast.
It's good to be back.
What a guy.
And also, before we get started, we really appreciate any support. So we'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, on Twitter,
At Podcast T3S.
and on Instagram.
At T3S Podcast.
We really appreciate any support. So let's get started with this week's episode with our new segment, 3-Minute Takeaways. So in this segment, we are getting a total of 3 minutes for the three sportsmen to talk about our takeaways from each week in the NFL season. For this week, we're going to be starting off with Jack, then going to Trey, then to Sam, and I'll end it off. We each get 45 seconds to talk about our takeaways from week 1 of the NFL season. I have a timer. I will tell everyone when their time starts and stops. Let's get started. 3, 2, 1, Jack.
All right, for my takeaway, I'm going up against him in fantasy this week. Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders. That kid, he is so good. Like, I was watching him basically demolish me live from the TV. People really need to start considering this guy's, like, maybe a top 5 back in our game going forward.
Better than Zeke.
Anything else about Vegas?
I mean, I like how their football team is shaping up in the future.
I still have 10 seconds. Anything?
Not really. That's it. Just keeping it short, sweet, and simple.
All right. Trey, your 45 seconds starts now.
So, yeah, my Chicago Bears made a huge comeback this week. I think on defense, Eddie Goldman is going to be a huge loss for the run defense. But it was really nice to see Mitch come back. Jimmy Graham looked good. So that was nice to see. And then my national takeaway is the Chiefs are going to be good forever. Like, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a beast. All their stars are signed to long extensions, so they're going to be a force for years to come for sure.
Still have 15 seconds.
That's all I got. Short and sweet.
This could be 30-second takeaways.
All right. Sam, your time starts now.
Buffalo Bills. They absolutely crapped on the Jets today. Wasn't even funny. That's all. Like, Josh Allen absolutely came to play. I mean, not surprising.
I feel like the
Literally
fumbling
insane at
issues.
football. I don't care. That guy, fumbling is behind him. The next week is going to come out and he's going to absolutely destroy. He's going to. I'm telling you, that division's theirs. They're winning that division.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what they're going to do to Miami next week. I don't even want to know. Like, it.
Miami looked pretty good, honestly.
Aaron Donald, big sack, big sacks.
They're good for
All
a
right.
rebuilding team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I really noticed how having Cam Newton in New England, that's going to do some huge things for what Josh McDaniels can do. Because they didn't have a mobile quarterback beforehand with Tom Brady. The only time Josh McDaniels ever really had a mobile quarterback in New England were the few games that he had with Jacoby Brissett starting. So I think having a quarterback who has a big arm like Cam Newton, who can run, that's going to add a lot of creativity to that offense. I can't wait to see what they do. And then defensively, the Seattle Seahawks, they're going to be a lot more creative this year with Jamal Adams. He can blitz, he can cover, he can do basically anything. And I think Seattle is one of those teams that could really maximize his skill set. And I think I saw a lot more confidence from them this week, defensively and offensively. And the Arizona Cardinals, I think they could be legit.
I'm legit.
I could see it. D-Hop looked really well with the Cardinals. Looked good.
He had to get 8 receptions, 151, I'm pretty sure.
And he had a touchdown taken away,
It was
but he
great.
was at the 1-yard line. So he was great.
All right, so that was our first segment of 3-minute takeaways. We really appreciate any critiques of it. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, let us know what we can improve on in the comments. Let's get started talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. This isn't part of 3-minute takeaways. We wanted to save it separately because they're 1-0.
Duval County.
Jaguars are 1-0 and may have already ruined their tank for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, in this season where there's so many teams tanking, one win could make the difference.
Yes, it could. That roster's terrible. I don't know how they won.
I think it showed that they're better than people think they are.
It shows
Gardner
they have
Minshew
heart, they
is
have
insane.
character.
Gardner Minshew is better than Carson Wentz.
That's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
Oh, man,
flaming
we're only
hot take.
5 minutes in, the hot takes are spilling.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we
Gardner
expect
Minshew-
from Sam.
It,
But
it's Minshew
It's
mania.
true.
Minshew mania. Is gonna
Hey,
take over the
Pennsylvania
NFL.
is still a top 10 quarterback.
I think when he's healthy,
Who the hell is Pennsylvania? What is that?
because he plays in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I get it. That's it.
That's his
Horrible
nickname.
pun.
That's his nickname.
I've never heard that nickname
Terrible
before.
pun.
It's a
Terrible
good nickname.
pun.
It's a great
Minshew
nickname.
mania. Minshew mania. The stash. It's the stash.
So I think the Jaguars are still going to be a bad team. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
they're not coming
Yes.
anywhere close to the playoffs.
I
No.
still think Gardner Minshew. I still think Gardner Minshew has the best pregame fits in college. 100%. He rolled up to every game wearing Pit Vipers.
I could
Well-
see the Jaguars being like the Miami Dolphins last year where they just won like 4 or 5 games for absolutely no reason and ruined their lottery odds.
At the end of the year, I think they'll look okay at best.
Did they play Tua today?
No, they were
They
playing
played
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzmagic, baby.
Fitz magic.
So here's the question I have for all of you. If they get the number 1 pick, would they draft Trevor Lawrence with what they have in Gardner Minshew right now?
No.
Maybe. It depends how the
Gardner
season
I don't
shakes
know.
out.
I don't
Gardner
know. If
Minshew would get traded.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, that's fair.
They would get
They
something
did it-
for him too.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew.
I mean, if he has like a good season this year, they could probably get a first-round pick for him.
First round pick.
That would be-
I don't see that happening. A
I
first
see
for
it.
Gardner.
Yep.
Hey,
I
Ryan
could see
Pace.
a
Ryan
team.
Pace
I
would
could
do
see a
it.
QB desperate team giving up a top 3-round pick for Gardner Minshew.
So
And
Bears.
So Jack, who would be one of those QB desperate teams that you're talking about?
The Colts.
Ah,
The Colts. The Colts.
Yes.
The Colt. That's a good one.
Yes. That was
I would
exactly.
Do you
love
think
to
they
see
would
Minshew
trade him
in a
within their
Colts
division
jersey.
though?
It's
They
a
get a
tough
good
call,
offer.
but it's hard to pass on Trevor Lawrence, even if it's not a great fit for the team.
Yeah, it is.
Or do you hold the number 1 pick sweepstakes? Whoever sends Jacksonville the best offer gets the number 1 pick.
You could get a lot. People will want Trevor.
You could. Trey, as a Bears fan, your team may need a quarterback next year. Maybe they won't. How
I'm
much
hoping
would
they
you give
don't.
up? How much would you give Jacksonville for that number 1 pick if they get it?
$10 million.
number one.
If they get it,
85 million.
Our first round pick,
Mahomes
the
is contract.
future second, and maybe like a future 5th or 6th round. That probably wouldn't get it done though.
what do you think would get it done?
Eddie Goldman too.
Oh, they're not giving up Goldman. It would probably be like this year's first and next year's first.
I think it would have to be at least 2.
Or
firsts.
Roquan.
I think Tariq Cohen would
Roquan's
be
not
an
going.
interesting asset to trade
Okay, Cohen, I could see. I could not see Roquan.
because he clearly
I could
has the
definitely see
talent to do
Roquan. I
something
could
better on
definitely
another
see
Sam,
team.
can we hear what Jack has to say?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Tariq Cohen, he clearly has the talent to do something better on a different team.
Yeah,
He
does.
reminds me a lot of Darren Sproles.
Yep, that was his comp out of college.
I remember that, and I totally agree with it.
I could see that. That's a name I could see.
Well, who else would be a QB needy team? Because if you're number 1, I don't think there's a chance they would go the tackle from Oregon, Sewell, but I just don't see it.
What if Baker sucks this year?
Little what if here.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Sam.
So, just what if? What if Tom Brady, his year doesn't shake out well, the Bucs dump him,
Okay.
and then they trade for the first round pick and get Trevor.
They need to give up a lot.
It's a little bit of a hot take.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin would not be on the team. One of the
Wow.
two.
Wow.
I don't think
I
Trevor
mean, I
Lawrence
think
I don't
is
see that happening.
huge. Trevor Lawrence is a huge guy that people want.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I love Andy Reid as a quarterback coach. I think he could do amazing things with Trevor Lawrence. I would totally want to see that duo, considering who's Bruce Arians coached. He's had Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Carson Palmer, and now Tom Brady.
Carson Palmer
Hey,
was
we're
good.
glossing over the GOAT, Jameis Winston.
Sorry, forgot Jameis Winston. is in
Famous
there.
Jameis.
30 for 30.
Would Pittsburgh trade up?
Eh,
Or does it depend
No.
on how Roethlisberger does?
I could see the Browns if Baker sucks this year.
I think if Baker has a bad season, they are 100% going to go quarterback.
Correct me if I'm
They
wrong,
always
but
do.
Roethlisberger was injured last year, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So we don't know how he's
Yes.
going to shake out this year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Also, maybe another one here. We're gonna have another one. What if Goff doesn't pan out this year?
They put too much money into him.
That contract is unmovable.
They put too much money into
That's
him.
true. Trey's right.
And how much dead money do they already have between Gurley
Oh
and
my
Cooks?
God.
It's sad.
It's got to
Are
be.
they
I
still-
think
depressing.
I think I looked it up. It's like 30 million or something.
Are they still paying Gurley?
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to say from overthecap.com.
How did he do today? Take
They're
a gander.
where is it? Dead money, 21.8 for Brandon Cooks, 11.75 for Todd Gurley,
Yikes.
2 for Clay Matthews, and $200K for John Franklin Myers. Totals up to a little over $36 million in dead money for the year.
That's tough.
Good Lord.
That has to be at the top of the NFL.
Yeah, it
It
does.
has to be.
I mean, I don't know who else would be up there.
They don't even have the ability to trade. Like, they have so much
That's-
dead money, just couldn't get done.
I
They have
mean,
like
keep
so
in
many
mind, they also
Exactly.
locked up
contracts.
Ramsey.
Trey.
They
Monster.
did.
Trey.
In Cup.
All right, so now we're going to take a turn, talk about the NBA playoffs.
Oh, yes.
It's been a
Go
crazy
Nuggets,
day.
go! Go Nuggets, go!
Sam.
They're going to the Western Conference
Let's
Finals.
go, Celtics.
Sam, you picked the Nuggets in 6 last week. Now they're going to Game 7.
I know. I was wrong. I was wrong. I
But
thought.
do you think they can win Game
Mhm.
7, the Nuggets?
Yes, I do. I definitely think they can. It's just the way that because clearly everybody on the team except it's funny because Paul George is the only one on the Clippers that showed up these last 2 games.
I mean, Kawhi
Okay, I
was
guess
pretty good.
Kawhi has something to say about that.
Except in Game 1. Was it Game 1 or was it Game 2?
Kawhi
This
struggled
was
this game.
too.
Kawhi
Whenever he
struggled
didn't-
this game.
Whenever he
He
was
struggled
scoreless
in the fourth quarter. He was pretty great for the rest of the game. I
Yeah.
had the Clippers winning
Wasn't
the
enough.
series in 6.
So did
Well-
I. That's what I know. I might have had it in 5. I'm not sure. I didn't think it'd be a hard series.
I didn't think they were going to play the Nuggets.
It
in the
wasn't
first place.
supposed to be.
Sleeping.
But
Just
Doc
sleeping.
Rivers is just the most incompetent coach in the NBA right now that's in the playoffs.
In the bubble or just in general?
Well, Boylan's gone.
Brad Stevens, the
Brett
GOAT.
Brown's gone. I mean, there's not a
Dwayne
lot of...
Casey is still in Detroit.
True. Yeah,
Bryce
I'm not going to give
Ball.
him the title yet, but some of the rotations he's running and the way he's playing Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell, it's making me sick.
Do you think the Clippers can win a title with this team?
No.
I do. With the proper circumstances, I think the Clippers could win a title.
Do they make it past LeBron if they win
No.
Game
No,
7?
they're not making
No,
it past
no.
LeBron, not with the way they're playing right now.
Lakers are winning it all.
Yeah.
I said it
Yeah.
from the
Especially the-
beginning.
Trey
But you
said
did
that they're
say it
going
at
to
the
do it for
beginning.
Kobe.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, no knock to Kawhi Leonard. He's my favorite player, but he like the difference between him and LeBron is that LeBron, because of his ability to finish, he has the ability to get off an effective shot at any time at any point in the game.
Yeah.
Can't argue that.
Not to mention he has playoff AD going off and playoff Rondo going off.
Yeah,
And even
AD.
Start off Rondo.
Yeah.
Even
Yes.
some quality games from Alex Caruso.
Yes.
And Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell are both averaging, I think, around 10 or under points in the bubble.
Oh,
so
this
far.
series they have not been good.
They have been non-factors,
Harrell
and
was
it is costing them
really bad today.
because the Clippers are built on their depth because they know they have the worst duo.
Out of the two LA duos, or just in general?
Yeah. Just
Oh,
out
yeah.
of the
It's
two LA
AD.
duos.
Yeah.
It's because AD is way better than Paul George.
Right.
Then the Eastern Conference. I'm a Raptors fan. They did not look good this series, but I mean, on to the Eastern Conference Finals now. Celtics Heat. What are we thinking?
They
Go
put up a
Celtics.
fight, and
Celtics.
I would just like to. I just want to flex
Jack, you can
my.
start.
Yeah, I just want to flex my perfect Eastern Conference bracket
Bravo.
for a second, and potentially my perfect Western Conference bracket, depending on what the Clippers do. I knew that the Heat created matchup nightmares for the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Like
that was,
yeah.
Giannis goes, there's paint. Bam is there, Jimmy's there, Iggy's there, Crowder's there. It's terrible.
that's a nasty starting five.
It is.
And
they're a deep team.
Yeah,
They're a deep
Yes.
team, too.
If they can, as long as they can stop Tatum and Jalen Brown. I mean, Tatum's been struggling, kind
Tatum
of.
was pretty good.
he's been
Sorry,
showing
was
up when it
struggling more.
counts.
Kemba
Yeah,
was
Right,
struggling.
struggling.
Jack's right.
Brown and Smart are playing good too, though.
What about that one Brad
Wanamaker?
Wanamaker? That's his name.
I mean,
He
he's
showed
okay
up.
as a role player.
He showed up in Game 7.
I saw a hilarious yet accurate post that Marcus Smart is what Patrick Beverly thinks he is. And he's not
True.
wrong.
That's kind of true.
Pat Bev's all talk.
He is all talk. He's like he's a yap dog.
True.
He's all bark, no bite.
Exactly. Like my dog.
And talking about the outside of the bubble, Oklahoma
Imagine
City
being in the
Thunder.
bubble. Imagine being in the bubble.
Yeah, it couldn't be me.
Billy Donovan to the Bulls.
Billy Donovan. They
That's my
decided
guy.
mutually
the
they're gonna
Bulls.
split ways.
I find it weird that they mutually agreed to split ways after having an incredible run. After weren't they given a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yep. Billy Donovan's a great coach. They wanted to rebuild, and Billy Donovan said no.
Yeah.
I think this means the front office is going all in on the rebuild, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they're probably going to
'Cause,
say
I mean,
goodbye to
they've got
CP3.
They have
And
15
Gallinari.
picks, don't they?
They have something absurd. They got
Oh,
they
yeah.
got 4 firsts from the Clippers, right?
So
Yeah.
how many firsts do they have this year?
I'm checking Tankathon right now.
They had pick swaps too with
Good old
the
Tankathon.
Rockets.
Good old Tankathon.
I mean,
They have just 1 first.
I could see why Billy Donovan would want to retool instead of rebuild, but like with all the assets they got from the Clippers, I think it's just a smart move.
Or no, they have 2 picks. They have 25 and 53. The Thunder.
Then he's going to the
Plenty more to
Bulls.
come.
Who? Donovan?
Then he's going to the Bulls.
Benny.
Billy should come to the Bulls. Billy Donovan.
Yes, he should.
All right. Do you think Chris Paul is going to get traded now? Because there have been rumors for a
Yes.
while.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And he had a good year, so they could actually get something. Potentially.
Is Milwaukee going to figure out how to mess with the cap enough where they can get him?
They
Well,
should.
Bledsoe's gone, first of all,
Yeah.
if that's happening.
They should, though. Get Giannis happy. Like I said last week, get him happy. That's the only thing you can do.
And, of course, we have to address the fact that he unfollowed all of his teammates on social media, except for his good brother.
Wow.
I mean, that's going to get people. to
I
take
saw
notice.
I saw the most hilarious meme. It was like, guys, Giannis didn't unfollow all of his teammates, and it showed him still following his brother.
I mean, why would you unfollow your brother, though? Like,
Yeah, the rumors are swirling. I know you want more than anything Giannis to go to the Raptors.
I'd love to see that.
I
I don't think that Siakam and Giannis would be different enough unless Siakam somehow like magically fixes the shooting next year.
He needs to take off Hall of Fame post-spin technician.
Mikey Williams to the GOAT. Mikey Williams to the Bulls.
That's still a few years away, so
Yep, only a sophomore. He's going to the Bulls.
What could you get from Siakam when he's at this point of his career, though, and he's just hit probably the lowest low?
I think Siakam needs to bounce back next year.
Yeah, for sure.
That's 100% a given. Depending
will.
on
I
how
think
he
he will.
does. I think he will. I think that injury he had a bit later in the season prior to the bubble,
He's definitely feeling it.
that may have been lingering.
Yeah.
I obviously don't know what he was feeling, how or why he was in this slump, but it didn't look good. I think if he bounces back and Giannis shows up, I would consider trading Siakam.
I'm confident in the fact that he'll bounce back.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm confident he's going to bounce back.
Yeah,
Just-
it was really just his jump shot from the three-point range that wasn't looking good. He was still scoring inside pretty well.
I mean, he had some shots that just really didn't go. It just like
Right.
bounced
Yeah.
off the rim, put a little too much or just not enough.
His big struggle was obviously from three-point range. What did he shoot?
Definitely.
12.5%?
It wasn't good. I don't know the exact number, but it wasn't good.
But he's still young, right?
He is still very
he's
young.
Yeah, he's fine. He'll be fine, I think.
Yeah.
I think obviously if we were to trade him for Beal, it would depend on what else Washington wants. I think
That's tough.
it would depend
That's
heavily
tough.
on that.
Because it's actually pretty fair when you think about it. They get a young player. You guys get a guy in their prime. It's not a bad idea.
And almost I forget where I saw this. No, it was First Take Max Kellerman talking about how it's not the Pippen Jordan comparison. Giannis is a Shaq who needs his Kobe.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
I feel like
That's a
if he
good
were
one.
to go to Toronto, if Toronto decides to trade for Bradley Beal, I think that duo could be what Giannis needs, what the Raptors as a whole would need to win a championship.
I could see
Very
that.
rarely is a big man the best player on an NBA championship team without some other elite guard.
Yes.
Yes.
Most of the
Now,
time,
I will say, obviously, Tim Duncan, but,
Duncan, yeah.
Tony Parker was right along there for the ride.
and
Yeah,
I'd say
he was.
Parker, Manu. I'd say even a little bit of Kevin Garnett. You could say he was the best player on those Boston teams over Paul Pierce.
Those players were basically equal at that point.
You could
They
make
still
the
are
case.
good players.
You
They
could
still are
make the
good
case for
players.
either one being better.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm in.
And,
I'm
the NBA
really
is
intrigued-
shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, away from the big man.
The Warriors proved that you could win with basically Draymond at small ball center.
And
Yeah.
I think most of the championship teams recently haven't. The big man has always been the third guy in the big three. Think about it. Draymond, Kevin Love, Bosh.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe even. I guess you could consider Siakam as the three on last year's Raptors.
Right.
Yeah.
It depends. It's obviously Kyle Lowry and Pascal Siakam as 2 and 3. It's just whoever you prefer, whatever
I'm
you
going to
value.
give that one to Kyle Lowry. He was kind of the heart and soul.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it just
Totally
depends
agree.
on the night because either one can have a better game
Yeah.
than the other. So,
I think in a few years, players like Joel Embiid are going to be. I'm not going to say out of a job, but they're not going to be on good teams. They're going to be on like Detroit Piston level teams.
Well, I think with the Sixers, obviously, it depends on what they can do with that cap. If the current management stays, I don't think they're going to be competing for a title.
Right. Yeah, definitely not. And like with the the era of back to the basket bigs is kind of fading towards like smaller guys who can stretch the floor.
I mean, look at guys
Yep.
like Andre Drummond.
That guy's
If
useless.
he played 10 years ago, he probably would have been great.
Yeah, I kept saying this to my friend the other day. If Joel Embiid played in the 1990s, he could have been one of the greatest centers of all time.
yeah.
I wouldn't say greatest centers of all time. I personally, from some of the reports that we've seen from Bleacher Report and other sources, his conditioning seems like it's a bit of a concern. So I don't know whether I would agree with you on that for him being one of the most dominant centers if he were to play in the 90s.
He'd be up there, though. Like, he'd still be a good
He would
center.
still be great.
Yeah.
He's
top
a very
3
talented
right now,
player.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's third.
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously Jokic
Cat
is
Jokic.
one. If
It's
Yeah.
Jokic, Cat, and then Embiid.
I think
anything
Vucevic,
besides Jokic, in my opinion, is ridiculous.
I
for
think
number
Vucevic
one.
deserves to be up there in that elite tier.
I
have
love
I have
Vucevic.
Vucevic. I listened to your advice on that. When I
I
was
had him
watching
in
them,
my
I have
elite tier.
Vucevic. Yeah, Vucevic, in my opinion, is the 5th best center in the league.
He's good. He's
Who are you
underrated.
putting it for then, Gobert?
Yeah, I have Gobert 4, but maybe.
You could maybe even flip.
You
I don't
could.
know, it's
Flip
close.
that. Yeah, you could flip that because
Gobert's an
Gobert
amazing
plays
defender,
awful
but
pick and roll defense.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Gobert's an amazing defender as a whole when he's close to the basket. But with Vucevic, he brings so much more offensively.
He's a lot more versatile.
He is.
Yes.
Gobert is like, there's this category of centers, in my opinion. The best ones include Whiteside, him, and Andre Drummond. I call them the outdated bigs. I think
Yeah.
Gobert is by far the best one in that category.
Yes.
I
I'd
agree with
agree.
that.
Basically, they score off of dunks and they get a lot of rebounds and blocks.
Yeah.
for
They're
the
good
most
at what
part.
they do. It's
Yeah.
just the NBA doesn't need it anymore.
Right.
Let's talk about some Chicago baseball real quick.
Oh,
Yes.
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 So glorious.
It
Alec
is.
Mills.
Alec Mills, of all people, no hitting
What
the
was he?
Brewers.
He was only up because Quintana was hurt, right?
Kind of, yeah, in a way.
Kind of, sort of.
Because they've had Adbert slide in a little bit, but Alec Mills, he was a walk-on in college, and now throws a
It should be
no-hitter.
known to the rest of the league right now that Chicago is the best baseball city in the MLB right now.
I mean, I think
Yes.
they are.
first
The White
place in
Sox are
first
carrying
place.
them.
Cubs are 28-20 right now. The White Sox
see, the White
currently are
Sox-
30-16.
The White Sox are actually first place in 2 things. They're first place in the division and in the AL.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm not going to argue. Well, obviously the White Sox are probably the stronger link right now, but the Cubs,
Yeah.
they're holding their own.
They
Yeah.
are.
They have Ian Happ as a potential MVP candidate, Yu Darvish
So is
potentially a
Abreu.
Cy Young.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Darvish has been killing it this year. I'm surprised to see him
Yeah.
back to.
He's silencing the haters.
I don't think
There were a
he's
lot
back
of
to.
Cubs haters out there.
He's not back to his Dodgers.
Myself
self.
included. I used to hate on the guy relentlessly.
Oh, I love the guy.
He's gained his confidence back. I think that was the one thing holding him back from
Oh.
after the Dodgers.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, well, once he found out that they cheated,
Oh yeah.
Yes. Because he
he
was
was like,
taking his
"Oh,
pitches.
it wasn't just me."
Yeah,
Not on him
exactly.
anymore.
Kershaw too. Yeah,
Yeah, Kershaw gets a bad rap.
right.
I mean, right now, so the Cubs still have Cleveland, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and then the White Sox to end their
It's a
season.
tough schedule,
I feel like the White Sox series isn't going to matter for either team because both divisions will be locked up.
right? But dealing with the Twins, and that's going to be tough.
Yeah, the White Sox have the Twins, the Reds, Cleveland. Or the
Cleveland
Cubs, I
is slowly falling out of the race right now. It's
Slowly.
their hitting is showing. Their hitting is showing. Their hitting is terrible.
All I'm going to say
I'd
is
still-
I would not want to see
Yeah.
them in the playoffs.
Never mind. I was wrong. Cleveland is 4.5 games out of the
Yeah,
first
they're
place
4.5.
right now.
They are a
the
scary
Twins are
matchup.
one.
What?
The most underrated and scary team right now is the Braves.
Yes.
I can
Yes.
see it.
I think we all saw
Yes!
what they did to Miami
Yes!
earlier this week.
The problem with the Braves is they don't have any pitching besides Max Fried.
Yeah, they
I
lost
don't
their
care.
guy.
Mike
I mean-
Soroka. I love watching him pitch. I missed him so much.
So do the Braves. The Braves miss him a lot.
Yeah, they're obviously struggling on the pitching end, but on the hitting end, who they have? Dansby Swanson, Ronald Acuna Jr., Marcell Ozuna,
Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman, all are viable MVP
Crazy.
candidates if you look at their numbers.
Adam Duvall having an
Adam
absolute
Duvall
week.
as well.
I like how Jack's including my boy Dansby Swanson in the MVP. I told you
I
he's
was
not
a hater.
average. He's not.
He's
I know.
He's average.
No,
he's
he's
having
not.
a
No,
he's
he's
having a
not.
good 60 games.
He's
still
having a
not
hot
top.
hand. I'm not going to
He's not a
lie, but I
top
still
10
got to give credit where
shortstop.
it's due.
It's not a top 10 shortstop like Sam says he is.
I don't say he's a top 10 shortstop.
You said he could be.
I
Could
could.
be.
Yeah, he
That doesn't mean he
definitely could
is.
be.
I don't think he's going to be.
I mean, I'm
he
not
is.
denying
I think
that
he is.
he has a hot hand, but I obviously, like, in a 60-game regular season, there's a lot more pressure, and I think he's risen up to standards and beyond.
I could see
That's
that,
fair.
but it's also a small sample. Like, I don't think Ian Happ would be putting up these numbers.
No,
for
Ian Happ's
162.
batting like 265 if they play out the whole season.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
And Sam, you were talking about Cleveland earlier, 4.5 games back.
Yep.
The Twins are 1 game back from the White Sox. What are your thoughts on that?
worried. I'm not worried about the Twins at all.
We should just give Sam some time to, like, go off about the White Sox.
No,
That's
we don't have the time to do
That
that.
series starts tomorrow, as of the day we're recording this.
Yep.
What are your thoughts going into that?
They're lucky that they're dodging. They are dodging Giolito. Wait, no, they're not. They're getting him. They'd probably get him game 2. Never mind.
They're
Or
missing
game
Keuchel.
3.
They're going to miss Keuchel.
They are gonna miss Keuchel. It's in guaranteed rate, so that's huge.
Yeah.
Cease is on the mound tomorrow. Cease has got the hot hand. I mean, he threw pretty well last outing. Second game, they got this might be the greatest matchup in all of Major League Baseball on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's Goggles versus Goggles. Randy Dobnak versus Dane Dunning. Do you guys know what this means?
I thought you were going to say Giolito versus Shane Bieber, and then you're like, Goggles versus Goggles.
Dane Dunning versus Randy Dobnak.
Sam, you know what we need? We need Alec Mills versus Dane Dunning. Goggles. Chicago
No.
matchup.
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
No, give Alec Mills. Give him to Giolito. Give him to Shane
Giolito.
Bieber.
Oh,
Trust
boy.
the process.
Trust the process.
Trust the
Kurt wants to
podcast,
trust it.
actually.
Kurt
Yeah,
wants
trust
to
the
trust the process.
podcast.
Kurt wants to. Kurt loves the Sixers. Kurt's
Actually,
second
I
favorite
read a
team
really
is the
interesting
Philadelphia
book about
76ers.
I actually read a really interesting book about the Sixers and how the process happened and how they went from trust the process to what they are now, basically.
Join or die.
Retooling time.
I like how that's on their court. I like how that's on the 76ers court.
Oh, the join or die political cartoon?
That's so cool.
It is. They embrace the history.
This
Benetti.
might be humorous to you, but in my 12-person league, Kirk Cousins went undrafted.
I mean, he's not the best fantasy quarterback.
Now, he's not the
You know
best
what I mean?
real-life quarterback either.
Like real life, he's
Exactly.
like top 10, top 12. Fantasy, he's not.
Let me just
Yeah,
ask,
no.
did Trubisky get drafted? Please tell me he didn't.
In my league, he did, but he's
Oh
claimed
my
right now.
God.
What?
Oh man.
Definitely not in fantasy.
I claimed that for my first acquisition. I claimed that guy Russell Gage.
Oh my God, he went off today.
Dude,
Seriously,
that
how
reception,
do you have
not a coincidence.
3 receivers go over 100 yards and still lose? How?
Who?
It's
The
mind-boggling.
Falcons.
That
The
defense is
Falcons had
just the
Julio
worst.
Jones,
Okay.
Russell
As I said in
Gage,
3
and
minute
Calvin Ridley.
takeaways, Seahawks are energized.
I'm energized.
All right, so those were our thoughts on week 1 of the NFL season. We talked about the NBA playoffs, some Chicago baseball on top of it. Jack, thank you for being back on the podcast. We really enjoyed this.
Thank you, Jack.
Yes,
we love
Thank
you.
you,
It
Jack.
was my pleasure.
Jack, we
Have
love
you
you.
back sometime.
Yes, I will be back.
Jack, you're gonna get a shutout your next start because it's the Three Sportsmen bump, as all Barstool.
Yeah, it's
podcasts
Mojo. It's like
call
IT Mojo. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
You're automatically
So-
going to be insane now.
Yep.
I remember the Three Sportsmen is a weekly podcast, so be sure to tune in next week. And remember, trust the podcast.